Greg Phillips around a lot. Decides to go direct, looking for Harrison, who's slipping in front with Hines. Used his height well. Off the running Tylor. In front of Rowan Smith, a busy player in the second and third terms. Chigwidden. Good pressure, forced wide. And although Chris Melican had it covered, it's out of bounds left forward pocket. 6 goals to 1 in the first quarter gave Glenelg the chance. Port fought back 4 goals to 2, and at half-time Glenelg by 16 points, and then a very even third quarter, 3 goals apiece. Melican opposed to Johnston. Stephen Williams can't get the quick. Seems to be a little bit in trouble, but wins the free for a push. And a tired and sore Stephen Williams is pushed around by umpire Harrison. He has 1 goal and certainly is within scoring distance. An important kick. Fades it back, right through the centre. His second, Port move on to 9-8, 62. Glenelg 11-6, 72.
And a very, very important goal coming at the 3-minute mark of that final turn. Glenelg almost having the ball out. Williams swooped in there, was awarded a free kick for a push in the back. And number 2 and number 9 for the Magpies. 10 points the difference. Now, 17 scoring shots each. Glenelg lead. Just his tap down, knocked the other way. McTavish tumbles one to half forward. Trying to work out Maynard, gave it to Hodgeman. Wider still, a long kick coming in from Jamison, but in the way, the ever-reliable Delaney. Quick to move it. Hines gives the lead to half-back. Well-placed kick, worked down beautifully. Harrison provides the run. High ball to half-forward right. Knocked out the back, Donovan's there. Beautifully stolen by Hodges. Goes towards the goal square. Melican touches, it hits the post, and Port trail by 9 points.
Oh, a brilliant passage of play from Delaney and Hines and Harrison. Port giving us everything. The chip from Russell finds Seabow. Glenelg defence slowing things down, going wide and finding Donovan. A lot of pressure from behind. Melican out. A chance for Hodgeman, put in possession by Hewitt. Boyd, Phillips, good pressure. And James West threw himself at Greg Phillips. The throw in, the left half-forward flank, slightly to the Glenelg side of centre.
Only 5 minutes into this final term. West trying to get it out the back. Marshall succeeded, robbed by Phillips, however. Gave it down. Bending back was Hobbs, gives it to Phillips again. He had got onto that left foot, kicks. Saw Abernethy, who dropped what he should normally have taken. That allows Thompson to work it out to Mark Hewitt. Up to half-forward right. Hines front spot. Can't work through. McTavish there, and the umpire calls it out for a throw-in. Almost up to half-forward left for Glenelg.
Bruce Abernethy, a simple mark dropped. Obviously in little trouble with injury and needing a run. Hines, bodies West. Marshall, superbly, the torpedo. In front, Garton off the chest. Mansell, not quite the pace. Chigwidden, overlapping. Direct play, Garton. Piace, Chigwidden, and well played to northeast. Johnston, the lumbering Melican, to the boundary. Donovan the overlap, well played to the Glenelg defence. Northeast, run up, Chigwidden. 15, and every metre counts.
And the Magpie supporters beginning to sense victory coming as Chigwidden drives deep to centre half forward. Play on would be the call. Rowan Smith working around. Melican got it out. Hodgeman got the kick. Mansell, he came on in the last quarter. Got it nicely to Salisbury out to Hodgeman. Flanked by McTavish. In turn at the centre circle is Mark Hewitt. Awkward looking kick going in. Delaney front spot. Garden knocking it forward. Working hard Maynard. And Hobbs into his back for the free kick to go to Peter Maynard. Well, Andrew Hobbs has had a day that he'd like to forget. Number of free kicks that he's given away. Peter Maynard, his work rate really lifted in that third term. Drives wide only to find big David Hines of Port Adelaide in the way. Defensive side of half-back.
Brilliantly played, David Hines. Read the lead to West. Now switches sides. Timmy Geneva. Time to balance. In front and finding Hodges. Slippery ball to Brown. Covered by Marshall. Wide, out of bounds on the full. Tempting to find Russell Johnston. Melican to relieve. They've had a good clash in the back pocket. Christie, the height, but well fisted away by the smaller Tregenza. And 8 minutes into the quarter, and there's 9 points in it.
An absorbing battle. Christie to Jamison. In the shoot was Abernethy. Well done to Jamison again. Floats one in. Piazzi, a good catch, but play on is the call. And the umpire in for a bounce. Well, the Port crowd wanted the mark. Umpire Harrison explaining. The resulting bounces at half forward right for Glenelg. Phillips trying to block. Taps it back. Tyler couldn't control it. Out looking for Stephen Williams. And taken over by Thompson. Simon's preparing to come onto the ground. Has gone back into the hollow. And now a throw in. Hines tapping it forward. Thompson will be first there for Glenelg. Looking for help. Keeps it in play nicely. The Archie somehow looked for the free kick. It's not coming again. Northeast bad. Bottled up Chigwidden, but taken over by Delaney. Oh, deliberate. The umpire ruled he made no attempt to keep it in play. And one couldn't quarrel with the decision. West puts the ball out, playing the full. So the Magpies think there's justice after all.
Listen to the crowd. The chip from Boyd to Delaney. Port recover poise. Nice torpedo to centre wing. Hodges up. Hines. Kept the ball in front to centre wing. 18 scoring shots to 17. Port. One extra scoring shot, but trail by 9 points on the scoreboard. To Hodgeman. Going back. And Northeast. Jamison. Short to West. Heavy ball. Looking for Marshall. Northeast. Finds Abernethy. A chance for the runner and Harrison. He's famous for his burst from defence. Has the pace. Well chased by Marshall. Puts it high. Melican leads in the race for the ball. And kept the ball in front well. The crowd called for it out on the full. It's a throw-in the right forward pocket.
10.5 minutes played now in this final term. Climax building. Johnston ruck work. Trap by Hobbs. Just tackle by Salisbury. And the ball will be bounced in the right forward pocket for Port. Time is on Glenelg's side. They've played a control game, having opened up an early gap. 25-point lead before Port got their first goal. And yet another bounce will result. They'll keep the game at close quarters. Brilliant first turn by David Marshall. A lift in the third quarter when Phelps was put to full forward and Hodges out to half forward for Port. Deep in the pocket. And Glenelg satisfied to keep it under for yet another bounce.
2 scoring shots as we go into the 11.5 minute mark. 2 accurate scoring shots could win this game for Port Adelaide. Johnston finds Rowan Smith, who snaps. Wide. What a dangerous player. Has 4, kicked 2 in each of the second and third quarters. And now opposed to Mark Donovan. John Seabone waits for the ball. A breather for the players. 3 points only in it in the Foundation Cup final. At the back, Chris Melican. Looking to pass off. Thought better of it. And he's gradually becoming a mature league footballer, Melican. At the back. James West at centre-half forward down. Wheels. Port Adelaide's the numbers. Northeast. Tregenza. Covered well by Maynard. Port Adelaide work it out. Harrison taps it on. Wide they go from Geneva to Boyd. Spears a kick in front of Johnston. And Melican once again just the pace and the presence to angle the Port Adelaide skipper off.
Glenelg just able to do a little bit more assured going into their forward line. Port Adelaide being forced to the boundary line. Johnston, is it knocked clear, knocked down nicely by Salisbury to Hodgeman. Jamison will be happy enough to take it over. The Port Adelaide supporters want a free kick. That's not forthcoming. Throw in about 50 metres around from the behind post of Port. Melican tapping down. Geneva caught without the ball. Still working. Trying to break out was Phelps. Now Obst. Working hard. Tregenza. The advantage played. Infield he goes. Danger for Abernethy. Oh, what a kick. And Bruce Abernethy hangs his head in shame as the ball is put out of play on the full. The most unlike Abernethy kick. Seabone tries to make Port pay the penalty, finds Mark Hewitt. Defensive side of half-back. Kicks to the centre wing area. West up high again, but it's front man Christie the mark. In through half forward. Glenelg on the run. Maynard. He's got Chigwidden short. Goes deep to the pocket, looking there for Bartlett. And off the boot of Delaney, this time out of play on the full. The Port Adelaide could ill afford such mistakes. David Marshall from deep in the pocket. Certainly no hope of scoring. Puts it up to the goal square. Wall of players, and it spills out the back and through for a point. So Glenelg moved to 11-7. Port Adelaide are 9-9. It's Glenelg by 10 points.
15 minutes into the final quarter. A cliffhanger. Delaney to Obst. Now in defence. Johnston positioning, rather it's Phelps. Fisted by Russell. Obst, full aggressive. Russell also. Chance for Christie. Thompson chipping forward beautifully to find James West. And West, although the angle is acute, could make this number 2 and seal the game. Should make the distance. There's no breeze. The centre half forward. Just inside the white space. His second. Glenelg move on to 12-7. 79. Port Adelaide 99-63.
Well, a decisive goal at almost the 16-minute mark. A magnificently weighted kick from the Glenelg centre-half forward. Looked for all money, it would go to the right of the post, but just waited to a nicety. It snuck inside, and the 12th goal for Glenelg puts them 16 points clear and throws the onus on Port Adelaide fair and square. Port in again. Not quite. Yes, they'll get the free kick to Geneva. Uses the run of Brown. Oh, the mistakes are coming thick and fast, but Tavish is caught. Port butter up, McTavish again caught. Maynard gets the free kick for a push in the back. He's helped by a 15-metre penalty, and the scales tipping in favour of Glenelg. Maynard drives deep. The back of the pack was Boyd knocking the ground. Hodgeman, who's played well all day. The run of Chigwidden, dropping the ball, and advantage call as Port break clear through Fiachi for Rowan Smith from centre wing, clearing Seabohm, but Russell gets a hand to it and forces it out of play. The throw in 40 metres from the behind post of Port.
Rowan Smith again a danger player. Both sides no doubt tired. And Port Adelaide never beaten. 17.5 minutes into the final and trailing by 16 points. Thompson, a good player. Melican. Harrison tried to break the tackle, was lucky. Ginniver centres the ball, looking for Johnston. Fisted away. Overlapping and tapping the ball wide. Jamieson takes the ball to the boundary line. Donovan protecting it. And Robert Thompson, an excellent game off that half-back flank for the Glenelg Tigers.
Melican and Johnston. Salisbury back underneath. Seabohm the kick. Tregenza and Jamieson off hands. Mansell the kick. Stays in play. Forced out by Northeast. He's looked as though he's got a bit of cramp. Tony Simons preparing to come back onto the ground for Glenelg. Christie versus Hines. Christie playing very well in ruck. McTavish takes the kick. Tumbles it to half forward. Spoiled well by Boyd. Phillips trying to force it to the boundary line. Chigwidden. But the free kick goes the way of Phillips for interference. 15-metre penalty will help him. Infield he goes. Marshall paid the mark. The Port supporters thought it was a half volley. But David Marshall continues to work hard. Drives to the pocket. Up high with Delaney. Out the back it's Boyd. Delaney again. And the ball out of the hands will be thrown in 20 metres from the behind post.
Chigwidden at top pace tried to burst that through. James West saw the humorous side. Well, they're in front. At the back, Phillips. McTavish now seems to be on the ball. Ginniver, excellent Tregenza. The big Phelps, twisting it or kicking it forward. At the back, Hines. Seabohm towards the boundary. Well played, Port Adelaide. Hodges back. Christie protecting. At the back, Chigwidden. Paid the mark at the second grab. The luck with Glenelg in the dying stages.
Nicholas Chigwidden drives to the right forward pocket. Johnston up, couldn't control it. West Court. Ginniver feeds it out. Phillips. Tregenza. Brown, trouble, but helped out by Taylor. From centre wing, he goes for distance, got under the kick. It'll drop it half forward. Knocked on by Hodges. Big hit on Hines. Tries to work it over, but Glenelg have got the numbers. Russell caught. Salisbury there. Body over the ball, fights to keep it in, and succeeds. The ball will be bounced inside half forward for Port.
Desperate football by Salisbury. Good movement from halfback. Taylor on the overlap. Port still not giving in. Hodgeman, a wonderful player. Conditions suiting him. A chance for Jamieson. Did not take. Wins the free. Short to Maynard. Looking for Melican. West in position. Brilliant take. Has had the better of Greg Phillips on the day. 2 goals from centre half forward. Just a little far out to score. Garton, the dummy lead. West puts it high. It's in the square. Looks good. Touch. And And the umpires, a goal! James West, number 3, Glenelg 13-7, 85. Port Adelaide 9-9, 63.
Oh, what drama. Not a sound to be heard. Definite hush. But when the Glenelg supporters happy with the result. 3 goals to West as Chigwidden goes to the bench. Simon's back on, but the break is 22 points now in favour of Glenelg at the 22-minute mark of this final term. Johnston in ruck against Melican, but it's Marshall trying to work out. He's caught with it. And Stephen Williams, who appears to be limping, takes the ball and drives low to find Phelps at centre-half forward. Jeff Phelps has kicked 2. It could well be within distance. A high ball, but pulled way offline. And inaccuracy hurting Port Adelaide. 9 goals, 10. They trail Glenelg 13-7 by 21 points.
Just over 2 minutes to time on. Sebo wide to Donovan. Maynard positioning. And favoured by the bats. Fiarchi across, intercepting, back turning. Tylor, a wobbly kick. And at the back, the mark paid to Phelps. Phelps busy early. A little quieter, puts it in high. A chance for Hodges, shoots! That's better. His second, Port Adelaide's 10th. And they move to 10-10-70, trailing Glenelg 13-7-85 by 15 points.
Well, Port Adelaide won't give in. 23-minute mark now, 15 points down with the second one from Hodges. Good play from Phelps. Backed his judgment behind the opponent, got the mark, and then saw Hodges running to the goal square, put the ball in to catch the Glenelg defenders unaware, and a fine snap from Scott Hodges. So 20 shots each, but it's Glenelg by 15 points. Melican getting up high. Simon's caught. Tregenza trying to work it out by boot. Melican in. Simon's over the top. It will be a bounce just ahead of centre. Glenelg looking to control possession. Johnston, favoured by the bounce. Belted around the corner by Maynard. Pass to Jamison and northeast. West mops up. Jamison, West. Infield, Hodgeman had a look. Cleverly done, Hodgeman. Into the pocket, looking there for Mansell. Fiarchi. Cleverly around, got the help from Delaney. He finds Smith. Delaney now. Into the centre of the ground. Abernethy. Stephen Williams, in fact, it is. A big screw punt to centre-half forward. Seabohm got the hand in the way. Hands and knees. Christie trying to work it out. Hines got the handball clear. Hodges didn't have the ball. And off the ground for a point for Port to trail by 14.
Injured player David Brown. No, not David Brown. Someone trying to kick that ball off the ground. The ball goes on. Maynard in the back pocket relieves for Glenelg. Simons. Tony Simons off the interchange. Goes wide for Melican. The back west. Brown. Good tackle, Hodgeman. Hanging on, says umpire Harrison. And the game must stop. Goes on. Short. Chance for Hodges. Play on. Wheeling. Ginniver lost his boot. 2 Glenelg players wrapping up as Maynard and going high towards the centre. West aggressively at the ball. Phillips behind. Off to Fiarchi. And Thompson at centre half back takes the ball. And umpire Harrison calls a halt to play. Port Adelaide player on the stretcher.
It could well be Obbs, I'm not quite sure. Yes, it is Obbs. He hasn't had the best of days either, Andrew Obbs. And that looks like a bad knee injury. Wharton will hobble back onto the field. He's got a leg injury which he got before half-time. Marnie won't take any further part in the play. He tore a calf muscle in the first quarter. And play will get underway with Thompson to take the kick. Just the sort of respite Glenelg could need there. They wouldn't be fussed by this. 14 points clear. It was the margin they had at the start of this last quarter as Thompson kicks the ball to centre wing and Johnston holds them up for Port. Uses Phillips. Little to kick to as he drives infield to the centre half forward spot. Phelps got up high, trying to work out was Wharton, succeeding. Ginniver bends it to the goal square and it is home! Jimmy Ginniver gets his first goal, so can Port Adelaide get out of it? 8 points down with 27 and a half minutes played.
Timely goal to Jimmy Ginniver. Johnston holding the ball back across the centre, giving his forwards a chance, and the zippy rover snapping over his shoulder. 28 minutes into the game, 3 minutes into time on, and 8 points in it. Johnston opposed to Milliken. The ball thrown up by Abbott. Brown. Tregenza advantaged. Centres. Hines in the forward line at the back. Donovan. Wide to the boundary is Russell. Chipping short. And a throw in left half-forward flank for Port Adelaide. 3.5 minutes into time on.
A good crowd of 26,135 here this afternoon, and they've really got their money's worth. Stephen Williams on the bottom of the pack and penalised. Glenelg had the numbers around him, and this free could be the breathing space Glenelg want. Centre wing looking for Marshall and found him, and it ought to be just a matter of possession from here on in. The umpire ruling that Marshall didn't take the mark until second attempt, and it will be a throw-in. He got his hands to it inside the boundary line, but when under control was outside of the white line. So still at half forward for Port. A knock away by Milliken. Hodgeman, bottom of the pack. Stephen Williams sends it in deep. Donovan overran it, but it came back to him. Good kicks, none of the game. Port won't give in. Caught was Hines, and the ball will be bounced to half forward left.
40 metres out. Slight angle. With Port Adelaide needing 8 points to tie the game. Umpire Abbott indicates the throw up. The big tap to the centre. The numbers, Marshall. Maynard, wide as Hewitt, does that so well. Wide at far side of the ground is Alan Bartlett. He's made position. Delaney traps the forward. Holding the ball, and Delaney plays off. Short to Taylor. Rather, yes, Taylor. Hodgeman intercepts. The run is through midfield. Chipping short to Garkin. Play on. A throw, says umpire Harrison, and the ball goes back to Roger Delaney.
He goes wide, Boyd's there. Time to have a look. Upfield, he's looking for Harrison, who'll go off the ground. Into the half-forward spot, Donovan out again. Helped by Seaborn. And they reverse the grand final 88 decision. Glenelg 13-7, 85. Port Adelaide 11-11, 77.
So the 1988 League Grand Finalists and the 1989 Foundation Cup finalists really turning it on at Football Park there today. At the finish, it was the Bays by 8 points. West was their chief goal kicker. He kicked 3. Hodgeman, Marshall and Chigwidden 2 each. And as far as Port Adelaide was concerned, Rowan Smith kicked 4, Phelps, Williams and Hodges kicked 2 each. After the game, Jerry Harrison spoke with Glenelg coach Graham Corns.
Congratulations on a courageous win in what proved to be an absorbing battle.
Well, it was. I mean, it was good early, free-flowing and good running football, but then when the rains came, it slowed it down a bit, and then it was just hard and slogging, and I thought both teams really committed themselves very well. happy and gratified for the 2 points, I might add, though.
Your pre-match strategy seemed to get Port unbalanced. You got to a 31-point lead at one stage in the first quarter.
Well, it worked, and that's never a match-winning lead, but, you know, as it turned out today, it probably was, because 5 goals up, and whilst they came back in the second quarter, when the rains came, it made it really hard to peg back that difference.
Taking into account recent games, I thought the big lift in ruck and across centre were the contributing factors, or the major contributing factors.
Well, I thought our centre line, Hewitt played very well, Marshall played particularly well early, and Jamison had a really good first-up game, and then Millican particularly played well in ruck, and Christie was his usual self, so compared to last week, it was a good effort, yeah.
I thought Christie was a bit better than his normal self. I thought he played an excellent game today. And you also had players that if someone got out, like Marshall, for example, faded at one stage, and then Maynard really picked up his game.
Yeah, Maynard, I was just saying, I thought he looked a bit flat there towards the end, but he had some important touches, and he had probably well over 30 possessions, and you can't ask any more than a player than to do that. And it was a good, solid team effort. Whilst we had players up and down, I think everyone contributed at the right times.
I don't think I've seen Glenelg play with such authority. Even in the end, when they were threatened, they still seemed to be in control.
Well, it's all you can do. You just keep having a go. It really was an important game for us. I couldn't stress that enough after last week, and we've got hard games coming up, and it was 2 points that we really had to have, and I thought the guys responded well.
Thanks. Well done.
Thanks, Jerry.
Glenelg coach Graham Corns, he seemed pretty happy with that result. As far as the club was concerned, Glenelg, that is, their best today were Hodgeman, Marshall, West and McTavish, and injuries, good news, all clear there. As for Port Adelaide, their best, according to the club, was Ginniver, Brown, Delaney and also Hines. Injuries, not so good news for Port Adelaide. Obst has a knee problem, the same knee that troubled him last week. Marnie has a calf problem and Wharton an ankle injury, so we'll be keeping a monitor on those 3 players as the week goes by. So an 8-point win there to the Bays. Now to our Mark of the Day competition. We've got 2 family passes to give away each week for the major round matches leading up to the grand final. All you've got to do is choose the best of the 3 marks we're about to show you now, marks A, B or C.
Knew that quite obviously, and I gave a lightning handball across to Field. Field's kicked downfield, but the mark has been taken by Maynard. That was a good mark too by Maynard. He just kept his eyes on the ball. Pindo looking for someone up forward. He's got a couple who were, Hine from the side of the pack. Has he been painted? He has. A big mark taken by Hine.
Drives wide to the lead of Chris Lindsay. Oh, good take. This is good football from the Eagles. Purposeful to a tee.
So mark your choice on the back of an envelope and send it to the ABC care of that address, and you could be one of 2 people to win family passes to all of the major round matches leading up to the grand final on October the 7th. Our thanks to the South Australian National Football League.